You know, as we speak, someone you know is posting or hearting, liking some posts about Kamala Harris on social media. MSNBC's Michael Steele, former chair of the Republican National Committee, posted that photo you see right there of Kamala Harris as Captain America. And that exact photo, it's now gone viral. People that I thought had common sense are now posting this image everywhere, hailing Kamala as a superhero because unlike Joe Biden, she can climb stairs, she can ride a bike. All of it almost is as unbelievable as the Biden regime trying to convince us that Joe Biden stepped aside all on his own. You know, he just woke up and said, you know what, forget Almighty God coming down and the train and everything like that I said would stop me, would only be the things that stop me. I'm going to do this all on my own. We all know that Democrats, they shoved Joe aside and they made him a deal he couldn't refuse. And we also know that the real reason Joe is out of this race is because the mega rich Democrat donor class, they turned off the spigot of cash to his campaign.
The ship has sailed, and there is basically almost no support remaining for him as the candidate, not against him personally, but because nobody thinks he can beat Trump. And I think, unfortunately, that's correct.
You know, when nothing makes sense, it's all about dollars and cents, right? It's always about the money. It's always been about the money. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Democrats, they never cared that Joe Biden couldn't do the job. They didn't care about his mental decline. Those factors, they're actually a plus for the oligarchs. Joe's been in office for, 52 years now? It's no secret who Joe Biden is, well before he even stepped into the White House with Barack Obama.
You have had, you from time to time put your foot in your mouth?
Sure I have.
I'm certain that Senator Obama was aware of that.
I'm confident. Everybody's aware of it. I have a record that people can go back and examine and decide whether or not I mean what I say, whether, no matter how I say it, whether I'm consistent with what I've asserted I care about. That's all I care about. And, but, you know, there's going to be a lot, I'm sure, a lot of things said about it.
I like who he is, and I think the American people will.
Yeah, you liked him so much, Barack, you stabbed him in the back. And you dropped him faster than a toddler with an ice cream cone after that disastrous debate. Oh, my God. So then, as per usual, the rich donor class had to install a new puppet. Cue Kamala. This time, Kamala Harris, come on up. You see, this is the real reason why the left hates Trump so much. Because no one pulls Trump's strings. No one. Except for God.
But if the events of last Saturday make anything clear, it is that every single moment we have on earth is a gift from God.
It certainly is, and that's why Democrats, they mock us when we talk about God, because they think they're gods, and they're only beholden to the almighty dollar. And the swamp creatures are emboldened to do whatever they want, including giving the middle finger to the 14 million people who actually voted for Joe Biden in the primaries. Screw your democracy, they said. We are going to pick the candidate. They installed Kamala because the elite ruling class, they couldn't take the risk that someone else would win in an open convention, and that person would be someone that they couldn't control. Right now, Kamala, I think, she's on a tight leash, because they've had major reservations about her. And not just because of her nonsensical word salads. The reports of her foul language, the angry outbursts, they're all indicative of a person who lacks self-control.
We have to know that sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open. Sometimes they won't. And then you need to kick that f***ing door down.
There's nothing funny about using foul language, Kamala. Her erratic behavior, that weird little cackle. I mean, Kamala's personal skills, they're a real issue. In the past 3 years, her office has seen a 92% turnover rate. Almost her entire office has quit since she became the vice president. She's not well liked by anyone. She's also very unpredictable, especially when she goes off script.
I'm not in favor of decriminalizing or not having consequence for. We have to keep. Let me just be very clear. We have to have a secure border. But I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
Notice not even audience members at The View, that's where she said it, clapped at that remark. I mean, Kamala just said, in sort of plain English, whatever, that she wants total open borders. Kamala Harris is as radically left as they come.
Hi, everyone. It's Kamala Harris. Each day, we are seeing our rights and freedoms under attack, including the right of everyone to be who they are, love who they love, openly and with pride. So as we fight back against these attacks, let's all remember, no one is alone. We are all in this together, and your vote is your power.
Yeah, Kamala is asking for votes on a show that celebrates men who dress up as women in provocative outfits. Democrats want to normalize the abnormal, demonize the righteous, and the fake news allows them to spew their propaganda with impunity.
Donald Trump has been going around saying he's going to easily beat Kamala Harris. She's heard this before from other sexual predators and rapists when she was Prosecutor Harris. And if he wants to know how this movie ends, he won't have to look too far, but he's going to have to go to a prison to find out.
So now Trump's a rapist, a sexual predator. He wants them to go to prison. You know, here's what Americans should really be finding out, Eric Swalwell. If Trump belongs behind bars, so do 99% of business owners who have had people sign non-disclosure agreements. And that rape lawsuit against Trump, it was only made possible because the governor of New York changed the law. Oh, and okay, let's put aside the fact that Trump's accuser had no proof of an encounter with Trump, never mind an attack. The man funding that rape case just so happens to be the guy you see right there, the same mega donor now funding Kamala's presidential campaign. Yep, Reid Hoffman just donated $7 million.
Vice President Harris is much more of the pro-business candidate than Trump and Vance.
But Vice President Harris, she wants to raise the corporate tax rate. The Harris-Biden administration or Biden-Harris administration has, in fact, imposed tariffs. So aren't there some anti-business concerns there as well?
I think what's most important for business is stability of the country, unity, rule of law.
Yeah, your rule of law. I guarantee you 99% of Democrat voters have no idea that all of this, everything I just discussed, this was all by design. Millions of Americans are actually falling, though, for this spin. That's what's so frightening, this narrative. As George Orwell once famously wrote in the cautionary tale of 1984, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. But of course, we will not be ignoring the truth.